welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a single massive idea that claims to explain, well, pretty much everything, from the very origin of the cosmos to the future of our society. I mean, think about it. It's one of the biggest questions you can possibly ask, right? Philosophers, scientists, they've all been wrestling with it for centuries. But what if there was a single, elegant framework that offered an answer? Okay, let's get into it. We're looking at a philosophy laid out in a work called Idea and Ideology, and it proposes exactly that, a complete framework. It maps out this methodical journey that connects the spiritual with the social in a really fascinating way. So, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start at the very beginning, the cosmic source. Then we'll watch as the universe unfolds, follow the journey back home to consciousness, explore how we can unlock our own human potential, and finally, see how all of this gives us a blueprint for a just society.
All right, first up, the cosmic source. To really get a handle on this whole journey, we have to start where it all begins, with the fundamental reality this philosophy says is behind absolutely everything.
So at the very heart of this philosophy is a concept called Purushottama. Now, it's not described as some distant god, but as the singular, underlying consciousness that is the source of all things. It's the ultimate subjectivity, the unchanging nucleus, where the entire cosmic dance kicks off. Okay, so you might be wondering, if Purushottama is pure, still consciousness, how does anything actually happen? Well, the answer here is Prakrti. Think of it as the creative energy, the engine that's inherent within that consciousness. It's made up of three competing forces, or gunas, one that's sentient, one that's mutative or active, and one that's static. The theory is that the eternal interplay between these three is what sparks all of creation. So, with those two core concepts in our back pocket, we can now explore the first great movement in this whole cosmic story, the unfolding of the universe itself. This philosophy calls this outward flow Saincara, and it basically represents the story of creation. It's a centrifugal movement, expanding away from that cosmic nucleus. Pure consciousness becomes progressively more complex and, well, crude, transforming from this one subtle thing into the diverse material world we see all around us. And this process isn't just a big chaotic bang. It's described as a really specific, step-by-step crudification. As you can see here, it starts with the formation of a cosmic mind. That mind then transforms step by step into the 5 fundamental factors of our physical world, going from the most subtle element all the way down to the most solid matter. But hey, the story doesn't just end with solid matter, that outward flow. That's only half the cycle. Now we're going to turn to the second great cosmic movement, the evolutionary journey back towards the source. Now this is where it gets really cool. Check this out. You've got these two movements framed as a perfect cosmic cycle. On the left, you've got Saincara, the outward story of the macrocosm creating matter, driven by a force of diversification. But on the right, you have its mirror image, Pratisaincara. This is the inward, centripetal journey of the microcosm, the unit mind, evolving back towards the subtle, guided by a force of attraction to the great. So where does this whole return journey begin? Well, this philosophy suggests that it starts when, through just immense pressure and clashes within the crudest matter, a new subtle thing is born, the unit mind. This is the dawn of life. And that's a really powerful idea, isn't it? That mind emerges from matter and begins this long, evolutionary journey towards ever-increasing complexity. And that evolutionary path, well, eventually it leads right to us. With the development of the human mind, the journey home is no longer just some blind cosmic process. It becomes a conscious one, filled with absolutely incredible potential and choice. The ultimate goal of this conscious journey is what's called the idea. So what is that? It's a state of psycho-spiritual parallelism. Okay, imagine your own mind with its finite, curved thought waves. Now imagine the infinite, straight-line wave of pure cosmic consciousness. That perfect alignment, that resonance between the two, that is the idea. And this state of alignment isn't just a nice metaphor. It's presented as the very definition of yoga. An ancient text puts it perfectly. The supreme union of Purushottama and the unit mind is known as yoga. It's the culmination of the microcosm's long journey home. So, if the idea is the destination, then the ideology is the map. And in this context, we're not talking about a political belief system. We're talking about the practical framework, the guide that helps a person on that accelerated journey back to the source. Now, what's so amazing about this philosophy is it doesn't just stop with the individual. It extends this grand vision of purpose and evolution to society as a whole, offering a blueprint for a more just and progressive world. It proposes this idea of a natural social cycle, the Samaja Chakra. The theory is that society is successively led by 4 different mindsets. First the laborers, then the warriors, then the intellectuals, and finally the capitalists. But here's the catch. Each era eventually falls into exploitation, which in turn causes a revolution and kicks off the next age. So how do you break out of this endless cycle of exploitation? The proposed solution lies with a group called the Sadvipras. They're described as spiritual revolutionaries, people who are grounded in universal moral principles. Their role isn't to rule, but to act as a moral compass for society, making sure the cycle moves forward progressively, for everyone.
This thinking leads to a really practical socioeconomic theory called Prout, which is based on the 5 principles you see here. The gist of it is to guarantee life's necessities for everyone and rationally distribute resources. Why? To free all of humanity from material anxiety so we can pursue higher mental and spiritual goals.
The ultimate aim here is really optimistic. A world that's united not by force or politics, but by a shared spiritual understanding, a cosmic brotherhood. It's a vision for a society that finally transcends all the narrow divisions that have plagued humanity for so long. So we've journeyed from the birth of the cosmos all the way to the birth of the mind, from individual enlightenment to a blueprint for society. It's one sweeping, interconnected vision suggesting we are all part of a grand, purposeful journey. Which leaves us with a final, big question to think about. If the universe really is a journey from oneness and back again, what role will you play in it? Thanks for joining me.